Hey Saber fans, it's Aaron of A&W Saber Services here with an 89 Sabers Qui Gon Jinn install that I recently finished up. This thing is so beautiful. I love this Qui Gon. I mean, the deep grooves, the finish, the chrome shroud. By the way, I used a different blade plug than what was included. Used what I would say is a more accurate one, I believe. God, the chassis for this particular hilt, this and the Ultimate Works Qui-Gon, they're kind of few and far and in between, and you almost have to go on Facebook and find people there. I know there's a couple people on there. The guy that supplied me with this chassis, his name is Stefan Palatsides? I don't know. Anyways, the chassis design for this is absolutely fantastic. I was super impressed with the job that he did on this, but I've yapped enough.
May the force be with you.
This has a Nano Biscotti and a Shamim speaker. It's very loud. Green, white LED. So of course, with the Nano, you have 3 fonts in mute. There's mute.
The ability to speak does not make you intelligent.
Truth. I love snap hiss ignitions like on Luke fonts. I believe this is father and son. I love Luke's saber, period. So the button is very responsive. The chassis, of course, has great sound venting. The entire setup of this saber is just awesome, in all honesty. This has an 18500 2000 milliamp battery in it, so I custom made that battery just to fit. But you have your recharge port and speaker. Now the actual magic. Well, one thing I did really like about this as well is there it is. It actually came with this ring to put on the side of the speaker to stop it from rattling against the pommel. That was another thing I really liked. So remove the CoverTech wheel. I used a little bit of tape on this, on the back side of the shroud, because it was flexing against the actual saber, and I didn't like that. So now it's a very tight fit. And then you have another screw. Ta-da! We have our chassis. And you can see that accessing the SD card isn't the easiest thing in the world, but where else could you access it from in this? Doesn't leave much install friendliness. Well, sorry, much SD card friendliness to it, I guess you could say. But this was for the auxiliary switch, so I just wanted a quick, clean install. I had a green, white LED that I needed to use. I was like, you know what? It's calling for it, pretty much. And, Stefan, he's a really good guy to work with. I will eventually be upgrading this to a Prism, and he was kind enough to redesign it, because he had it as a Prism, and redesigned it for a Nano, and this worked perfectly. You can tell it fits in there. Fantastic. And I mean, if you wire it a specific way, you can have it where there's no visible wires showing. I don't care personally. I'm a fan of visible wires to some extent. I like the crossguard looks of exposed wires and stuff like that. Shows a little more realism in it to me. But that's just me. Not everybody's the same. So shroud's back on. Push it in a little bit to where you can get that ring on there. If you like it, then you should have put a ring on it, right? Well, I like it. I'm putting a ring in it. Giggity. Tight, secure. Loud as hell. That's Shamim's speaker. It don't play no games.
Don't think. Use your instincts.
I would say very comparable to a Saber Essential. Jesus Christ. Ranger's Blade. Jesus. It's like hearing a gunshot indoors. Ah.
May the force be with you.
And back to K-Sith's Qui Gon font. I love it. K-Sith makes amazing fonts. And you can tell it's typical 89sabers quality. I mean, their hilts are just so fantastic and engineered so well. I mean, just from top to bottom, it's just flawless. I mean, the anodizing is perfect. The chrome plating on the shroud, there's nothing wrong in it whatsoever. No bubbling, no scratches. The button is just flawless. There's nothing wrong with it at all. Nice clean finish on it. Cover tech has some nice details in it. I mean, you can only get so detailed with a Qui-Gon. The grooves are not sharp in any sense of the word. I mean, I could just rub on it all day and be fine. Speaker, sound venting is great. It's not overly large. It's enough to fit a 28. Now, I did have very specific needs that I wanted to meet on this. Of course, this unthreads right here. I had very specific needs on this. You know, I wanted to have an 18650 battery in here. I wanted to have, you know, a 28mm speaker, and, you know, the other chassis that I'd seen on the market, specifically on Shapeways, were just housing like 18500s and stuff like that. And I was like, no, I don't want that. But, you know, if I wanted to get an 18650 in here, I would have had to, because there's actually an LED retention right about there. LED retention screw right about there. So if I wanted to use an 18650, I can, but I would have to drill and tap a LED retention screw up here instead. Which one day I'll probably, when I do the Prism install, I'll probably upgrade this to a NeoPixel instead of in-hilt LED. And of course I'll have to drill that set screw in there. But the other part of the chassis that you can't see is, he actually engineered it very well. I was very impressed with this, but the chassis has a lip that comes up. It's the entire spot right here. So of course this unthreads right here as well, and it actually sits. Let me see if I can word this right. The chassis piece is 2 spots. That's what I'm thinking. It's got one spot where the back side of the switch actually goes into it, and the battery actually sits down on top of it. And the other side is the other holster for the battery, and it's got a holster for the LED. So whenever you thread the LED in all the way, you have a little bit of chunk left, and that slides over it very well, and it has wire passage all around that rim. So it's very well thought out, very well executed, and very affordable, and the guy is very helpful. So, I mean, I would recommend this saber and that chassis for any Qui Gon fan. If you're looking for a good Qui Gon, either this or Ultimate Works, and contact either him or Robert Sotomayor, and they will hook you up with a good chassis. That is the only two people I know of that have a good chassis. I know there's one on Shapeways. I can't remember who by, and you can fit different soundboards in there. I think the biggest battery it supports is an 18500, and if you throw a Crystal Focus in there or something, or for instance NeoPixel, you're gonna need an 18650 regardless. But that is my Saber reveal and my review of the chassis and the Saber, and I'm highly impressed. It's a wonderful Saber. 89sabers killed it. The blade plug that was included with it, I didn't much care for it. It was too much of a matte finish, and I wanted, chrome to go along with this lip around here, so that worked out well. Good mirror finish chrome. I can actually see myself in it, so yeah. Anyways, till next time, Saber fans, may the Force be with you always.